Selena, put our palm together. Can you do this for me? Are you there, Selena? Okay. T, go ahead, T.
Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha.
That's good.
The unsurpassed, deep, profound, subtle, wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million eons is difficult to encounter. Now that I've come to receive and hold it within my sight and hearing, I vow to fathom this come one true and actual meaning.
Jaden, can you turn on your webcam? Serena, I could not see you. All right, let's do one minute meditation together. Okay, keep your back straight, your neck straight, close your eye, inhale and exhale to the nose. You count one, inhale and exhale to the nose, you count two and keep going. All right, 1, 2, 3. Sit still. Yeah, all right. Good. Adrian, you remember what did we learn last week?
It's what's the name? It's the things that keep first we learn about the things that keep us reborn cycle.
Okay. The first one in the cycle, what is that?
Ignorance.
Yeah, ignorant. What did I teach you between the ignorant and the wisdom? Remember the sixth, the seventh property, the sixth property.
The properties.
Yeah, the sixth property make the non-living thing. Remember that?
Earth, water, air, fire, space, and
And the view.
yes.
The view is the knowledge, right? The human knowledge, remember? And we remember that, okay, in the minimum property that we need to have in order for the plant to be exist, for the mineral, for the metal, whatever what they call the natural resource. What do they need for those natural resources to exist? You know what are the natural resources, right? The oil, the gas, the what you call the metal, whatever the thing that we you know the chemistry, right? The in the chemistry they have a table, the period table. You remember that? Did you learn chemistry yet?
Yeah.
Okay, let me show you. This is important in Buddhism, and if you understand this, you will understand the Buddha teaching about everything in the universe. Okay. Okay. The table, they call the period table, right? What do you call?
The periodic table of elements.
Periodic table element, that's right. Do you understand this thing? What is this table represent?
The elements in our world.
Yeah, this, okay, remember, all this element here, that's what we discover in our world, right? In the earth, in our world. That means, and they all use this element to combine to produce the certain product. For example, in order for us to they want to produce the sauce, they need sodium and laurie. They combine those two together, they create the sauce. In order to produce something, they need to combine this element together to create, for example, whatever we use, like the detergent, right? That we using for washing what the dishes or what the clothes. We use those things. Those things come from all this element here. They use an element to combine it and to create a product that for us to use. For example, the water, it means H2O, right? H, that means hydrogen, one hydrogen and two oxygen combined together create the water. Does it make sense? So all this table, all this element in this table here, it represents that's all we have for now. Okay, that's all we have for now, because this is all they can be able to discover. Maybe we have more than what we have here, but they're not yet discovered yet. Okay, so they all we discover, and all this thing here, in order for all this thing here to exist, we need at least 5 properties to exist, because this is the natural, we call the natural resource, right? We don't create it. This is the natural created, the nature created this thing. Does that make sense, Shannon?
Yeah.
Right? This is not the human make. This is the nature make. So all this thing here, in order for those things exist, we need at least 5 elements. That means the earth, the water, the fire, the wind, and the space. That's the 5 elements, the 5 property in order for those things to exist. If we only have the earth, water, fire, and the wind, no space, the space, that means the gap. If we have no space, I don't think nothing will exist. Does it make sense to you, Agent?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the 5 property, it will create. You know what? I will make a note here for you guys to remember. No. The first 5 property are needed or are natural resource to be exist. Good. I hope you understand that, right? Because I teach you at the same time. I have to come up with all these things. So this thing here, Buddha don't show us the detail, but at least he give us the main thing that we can be able to understand it. That's the good thing. Okay, so okay. And last time we already learned about the the all the things that we use, right? Like the table. We want to buy a table. We want to buy a car. We want to buy a house. We want to build a house. We want to build the garden. We want to build whatever we want to build, right? We want to have an iPhone, laptop, or computer, or whatever. How many property do we need, Jaden?
I'd say we at least need view, and we at least need need space and earth.
No, we need all six. We have to use all six. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you buy a wooden table, right? The wooden table come from store, but the store get it come from where? It come from the wood, the company create the table. And how do they create a table? They need wood, right? The wood come from where? Earth, water, fire, wind, and space. That is the wood. In order to have a wood, you need to have the 5 property. You cannot have only 3 or 2. No, all 5 together. But in order to create a table, so inside that company, right, they have the designer who create the different design of the table, right? So they use the knowledge. That means the designer using his or her knowledge to create the different model, different design of the table on the computer. Okay, and they print it out and they give to the carpenter. Okay, carpenter, you can use my blueprint and use the tool to create table. So the carpenter use those things as well as use his own knowledge. That means the view, right? So the designer and the carpenter use the view to combine those things and to create the table. Remember, the tool come from where? Come from the first 6, also come from the 6 property, right? Because the human, we are create the tool, and the tool come from the metal. The metal, that means the natural resource, right? The natural resource, they need to have first 5 elements, first 5 property. Does it make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we need at least we need 5 property in order to for the natural resource to exist, to be exist. But in order to have the, let's say that the carpenter need to have the tool, right? The tool come from what? Plus another property called view. So all the 6 property will provide the tool. Okay, that means we create a specific tool for the specific job, right? And now the carpenter will use those tools. That means they use all the 6 property to create a table. And now the table become available for consumer to buy. So we buy it. The same thing with the house, the same thing with anything else. The same thing with iPhone, laptop, whatever. Better you understand what I just said? I could not hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. Make sure you understand this. This is important and this is very powerful. Savina, you understand, you follow?
Yeah.
So how about this? Can you, I ask each one of you, give me an example. Okay, now let's say that I give you the specific product and you tell me into detail how this thing come up. Start from the agent, right? Let's say that you go to store, you buy the laptop.
Okay, so laptop comes from a company which has a person that designs it, which is the view. But then to make the laptop itself, you need the natural resources like the metal.
Cheap, right?
Yeah,
Mm.
and then all that together will make the earth, water, wind, fire, and space and view.
So that means, okay, you have a designer to lay out your laptop model, right? Different model, and what else? One they have that model, and they will what? They will need to have the engineering, right? To to create those things on physically, right? And they have to run the schematic. That means the wire on the laptop motherboard, right? And all the components they have to plug in together. Those components can be the CPU, the memory, all those kind, the math processor, and the hard drive. They mount it into the motherboard, because the motherboard is called the schematic. They have all the electric wire, right? So now they be able to do that, and they want they be able to test it, and it work. Then now, in order for them to produce the mass production, right? What do? They were using the machine to do that for them instead of human. Human take time. It human can only play a laptop, maybe one laptop a day, I guess. But the machine, they can play 20 or even 30 or 100 laptop a day. You know what I mean? They have different kind of machine to mount those components onto the main board, and they will combine, they will examine, and they will create the laptop for us. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
That's good. So Betty, can you help me? Let's say that you love to play music, right? You what is your instrument? What kind of instrument you are using?
I don't play an instrument.
Oh, you don't play? I thought you go to the concert to
Oh,
perform.
I do choir.
Oh, you in okay, got it. Okay, how about this? Your mom just bought you a new purse.
The new purse. Okay. So first, like you'll need like the material for the purse.
Can you say near so we can hear you better?
You'll need the material for the purse,
Okay.
and then say like it's like a leather,
Okay.
and the designer made the designer to like make the purse using the leather, and then
Okay. Okay, when they need a ladder, they need all those raw material, right? Where the raw material come from, you know?
um,
The 5 property, right? You
yeah,
remember the first 5 property?
from our body.
No, the first 5 property. What are the first 5 property?
I don't know what you mean.
The earth,
Oh, the earth, the water, fire, air.
the wind, and what else? What else? The last one. You need a gap. What do you call?
I need the what?
The gap. What is that property called?
The gap.
Yeah, that's space, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. The earth, the water, the wind, the the fire and the space. Okay, so those fire property will provide the raw material for us to for the company to put together to create a purse. Okay, so okay, Jaden, let's do this. Kevin and Vivian, turn on your webcam. Go. Okay, Jaden, let's say that your parent just bought you a new car.
Well, I'd say that I would need earth for all the individual components. I would need water. I would need water for. I think there are some materials in cars that need a lot of water to produce. For space, well, you need space to actually make it. And you also need air because the designers who are making it have to breathe. And you also need view for like the actual people designing the car and making use of the materials.
Okay. All the raw material like the metal, all those things. Do you think that do we need to have all the 5 elements in order to create the raw material?
I'd say so because there are a lot of complex stuff in cars that you need a lot of stuff for.
They require all the first 5 elements for us to have the metal, right? For us to have all kind of material. If we do not have the first 5 property, if you miss one of them, those raw material is not available, right? Let's say that the metal, right? They come from maybe the table period, right? The one I just showed you, all the elements that we found in the earth, they will use those elements to create the metal. The metal material is not automatically come out from nowhere. No, it have to come out from the natural resource, like the periodic table element. Does that make sense to you, Agent?
Yeah.
Because the metal, they have to create it. So the metal need also not, so that means all those natural resource one, I think it what is the total of the natural resource on the periodic table? 114, right? Don't you think? I think it's 114, I think. They only found 114 elements on that table. And those elements, basically what they do, we use a specific element to combine to create the certain thing. You know what? The weapon also come from that, right? They create the explode, right? Explode bomb, right? The bomb come from where? Come from those elements. It's very powerful. This table, periodic table of element is so powerful. You can create everything in this world based on this table. From the daily, the household uses to whatever society, the weapon, everything come from this table. So the metal also come from this table in order to create it. So the metal, that means all this natural resource come from the first element. I mean the earth, the water, the fire, with the wind, and the space to create this thing. Then when they combine those things, right? That means the human, let's say the human that they company create the metal, right? The company create the steel, the company create all kind of raw material for the car company to use those raw material to create the car, right? So the raw company, the raw material company, they also use their knowledge to combine those elements from the periodic table to combine it and to create the certain product for them. For example, the metal, the steel, or whatever. This is important. That means the raw material company, they need to have the view property as well. So they need all 6 property in order to create the raw material for the car company to use it, or for the whatever the company need the metal. For example, Apple, they need those raw material to create the iPhone. The laptop company also use that raw material to create the whatever, right? So this is important. They are interdependent. The dependent origination, it means interdependent. We depend on each other. There is no independent. Serena, where are you? So this is important. Home, you understand, Home?
Yeah.
So, right? So now, Jaden, you understand so far?
Yeah.
This is kind of complicated, but I break down so it's easy for you to grab it. So what happened is during the COVID time, right? The raw material company like metal or the chip, they create the chip, right? They shut down that company. It will affect the entire world economy. Because we cannot build the computer. We cannot build the iPhone. We cannot build whatever it needs to chip. You see? This is important. That's why the Buddha teach us the dependent on origination. It means interdependent. That means in order for this, that means the chain of the law of cause and effect. Due to this, we have that. If we don't have this, we do not have that. That means the cause and the effect. You see that? It's important. All right. Okay, let's move on. So today I'm going to teach you the 7 property. That the number 7 property we call constantness, or we call alaya constantness. But for the socket, they call constantness, but it means alaya constantness. Even though we have 8 different constantness, but in the last property, if they only call constant, it means alaya constantness. Agent, what is the alaya constantness?
It stores all your actions and karma.
Yeah, it stores everything. From the past, beginning of the past life till now, right? It becomes the power of the karma. Either good, it both bad and good karma we put in there. And it's very scary when we die, right? This will, the one who create us in the future. This one right here. And it is just a stream of consciousness. That means our mind is constantly thinking, right? That's why it keeps flowing. They don't stay at one place. That's why we call it impermanent. Okay, I will show you this. When a person dies, right? When a person dies, It just pass away. The last thing is come out from that body is the alaya consonant. For example, when a person, when we are human, right? That means we have all 8 consonant, its function, right? We have the eye, the ear, the nose, the tongue, and the body. This is the first 5 consonants. We call the first 5 sense consonant. It will contact the world, right? For example, the eye see the visual object. The ear can hear the sound. The nose can smell. The tongue can speak. The body can touch. That's why they get the information from the outside, and they will, in order for the eye to be able to distinguish about the form. Do you think the eye can be able to distinguish about the form? When Serena, where is Christina?
I don't know if she's gonna join.
Okay. Serena, when we see the flower, do you think your eye can be able to distinguish about the flower? The flower, this is red, this is pink or whatever. Can you be able to distinguish right away?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Maybe.
Maybe. Hey, what do you think?
Can you say that again?
Huh?
Can you say that again?
Okay, when you see a rose flower, let's say the red rose flower, do you think your eye be able to distinguish this is the red rose flower right away?
No.
Okay, then when which one will help them to distinguish?
Um, the alaya consciousness.
Okay, Jaden, can you help me? I just want to review this thing for you.
Yeah.
Okay, when your eye see the a red rose flower, can you be able to distinguish this is the red rose flower?
No, I don't think so. It's your mind that does that.
The mind, that means the brain. Right?
Yeah.
When we're talking about the mind, it means the brain. Let me put this thing here. Very good, very good. Let me make sure. Good. This is the brain. Put different flowers so you can see. This is terrible. Okay, all right. In the same thing with the medical view, right? This is how the medical view works. When our eyes see a flower, it will take a picture of those flowers. They will have, that means it will take a snapshot of that flower. And those images will be sent to the brain, the mind. It's sent to the brain, right? To the nerve, right? Remember? The nervous system, remember? Oh, Jaden, how our nervous system work? The central nervous system.
The central nervous system.
Yeah, how it work? What are the components do they have?
Well, it has neurons, which communicate back and forth with each other.
Okay. So what are the 2 main components do they have?
So the neurons itself and the brain that it's stored in.
Hey, Adrian, remember I think I did quite a long time ago.
It's the brain and the spinal cord.
Yeah, the brain and the spinal cord. This is important. These are the 2 important components of our body. That's what we call the central nervous system. So what does that mean? The brain, right? That means the brain. And also the spinal cord, that means the spinal cord is, I will show you this. This is how the spinal cord looks like. I don't want to go to Amazon book what. Brain and spinal cord. Okay. You see this one right here? Everyone pay attention. This is important. You learn Buddhism, you also learn the medical view, right? This is how the medical work. This is our brain, right? And you see the spinal cord right here? That will run from the brain to our backbone, the backbone, right? On the back, along way with our backbone. It's just like the highway. Highway of what? The spinal cord, what do they have, agent?
It branches out into nerves.
Okay, it contains all the nerve, right? All the nerve cord. That's why we call it nerve cord, right? The nerve cord. The nerve will connect in the brain. And those nerves will run along the way with the spinal cord and connect to the entire body. That means all the organ, all the body organ, right? That means we have a lot of nerves run from the brain along the way with the spinal cord to connect to different part of the body. Why? Do you know why? Agent?
Is it so it can send messages to our other parts of the body so it can move?
Right. So we have nerve connect from the brain to the arm, to the eye, to the nose, to the tongue, to the face, to the neck, to entire body, right? Let's say that a person who, when we move our hand up and down, right? Do you think that our hand can be able to move up and down by itself? Betty,
No.
which one control the arm to be able to move?
The mind.
Which one?
The mind.
Yeah, the mind, the brain. The brain control it because the brain send the signal to the nerve, right? That connect to the arm with the brain. The brain say that, okay, I want to move the hand up. I want to move the hand down. I want to move the hand left, right, move forward or backward. That the brain control. That's why we call it is the central, right? The brain is the central. It controls the entire body. Let's say that the person who have stroke, right? That means they collapse, right? And after maybe 30 minutes, the doctor be able, the ambulance came over, they took him to the hospital, they will be able to help him to wake up from the coma. And even though he wake up from the coma, and that means during that time, if I remember the blood right in our system, for the blood to be circulated in our body, what do we need to for the blood to be circulated? Serena.
Yeah.
What do we need for the blood to be circulated in our body? They need to have what?
I don't know.
Jaden, you know what? You know in order for the blood to be circulated inside our body, what do they need?
I'm not sure.
Agent.
The heart.
Huh?
The heart.
No, the oxygen.
No.
The oxygen. The oxygen comes from our inhale and exhale, right? The person who collapsed, that means they are lacking of oxygen. If we don't have the oxygen enough, to circulate the blood. And what happened? That means our blood cannot move, right? What happened to when the blood cannot move? What happened to our body, our body cell? It will die. The body cell to be in order for the body cell to live, right? They need the blood. But in order for the blood to be circulated, they need to have the oxygen. If a person who collapsed from the stroke, right? That means that person cannot be inhale and exhale. So they don't have enough oxygen. If the ambulance team, right, the emergency team, they arrive late, right? The longer they take for them to arrive, the longer will damage our cell, our nerve. Does it make sense? The body cell and the nerve, it will be damaged because we don't have enough blood to circulate in those areas. And the blood cannot be circulated. Why? Because we don't have enough oxygen. And what happens is, if our brain, right, the blood cannot go up to the brain cell will die. And when the brain cell die, right, or when the nerve die, those nerves, if they connect to the arm, right, the arm become paralyzed. That means we cannot move. Even though the mind say that I want to move my arm, but the arm cannot move. Why? Because the nerve already damaged. And they cannot send the signal from the brain. Even though the brain said that I want to move up and down with my hand, my arm. Can you be able to do that if your nerve is already damaged? Jaden.
No, I don't think you can. can.
Okay. That's important. That's why they need to have the physical therapy. They have to have acupuncture to revive the nerve. Hopefully, they be able to revive the nerve for some time. They take a long time to do that, and hopefully that will be able to revive, and you will see the patient be able to move a little bit. The arm. This is important. Yeah. So let's go back to us, right? The question I'm asking is, when we see a flower, our eye cannot be able to distinguish. So the eye will send the flower image into the brain, to the nerve, right? And the brain, they will, okay, basically in the medical view, what did the brain do? They have a function to convert the object, the visual object, into the sight. That means we can be able to see. That is the medical view. In the Buddhist view, how the Buddhist work, I will show you. It works similar to the medical view. It's not, that means the Buddhist the Buddha teaching is aligned with the science. Remember, the Buddha teaching is more than 2,500 years ago. Science just found this thing only within 100 years. Remember that. Science way, way behind the Buddha teaching. But it's okay. The more advanced in science, the more it will help the Buddha teaching become more clear. This is important. So when the eye see the rose flower, and that means the eye will send the image to the nerve, to the nerve to the brain, right? And the brain basically, the mind consciousness will load that data, will put those data object into the brain. Memory, the short-term memory, right? We have a short-term memory. If our brain do not have memory T, can you, what happened to our brain if we don't have memory?
We won't remember anything.
We don't be able to think. We don't be able to memorize. We don't be able to visualize. We don't be able to make a decision. All the brain function, it will not work when the brain have no memory, right? So the data is locked inside the memory. That data become available for the brain to think, to visualize, to make the decision, to distinguish, right? At that moment, the brain be able to distinguish. This is the raw flower, this is the red flower or whatever. And that's why the brain can be able to send the signal to the eye and the eye be able to distinguish. Does it make sense? Whether you understand this?
Yeah.
This is important teaching, right? So the same thing with the ear. The ear, when you hear the sound, the ear cannot be able to distinguish, oh, this is the soft music, or this is the rock and roll music, or this is whatever music. The ear cannot do that. So the ear will send the sound object to the mind, and the mind will load the data into the short-term memory. And the short-term memory data will become available for the mind to be distinguished, be able to distinguish, right? And the mind will signal, send the signal to the ear for the ear to be able to distinguish. When the mind send the signal to the ear, this is the time it will create the ear consciousness. That's what we call the ear be able to distinguish. Or when the mind sends the signal to the eye for the eye to distinguish, this is the time it will create the eye consciousness. That means they can be able to recognize it. They be able to distinguish. The same thing with the nose. When we smell, right, we do not know. The nose will not know what kind of smell it is. The nose will send the smell object to the brain. And the brain will load that data into the short-term memory, and the short-term memory become available for the brain to process. And after that, the brain will send the signal to the node, and that is the time they create the node consciousness. And the node be able to distinguish about the smell. This is the good smell, this is the bad smell, this is the terrible smell. It smells stink. It smells very good. So basically the mind control everything, control our movement, control our sensation, control our first five sense right here. So when a person dies, right? Let me go here. What happened when a person passes away? That means the brain is no longer work. Remember, even though this five thing here is no longer work, but the brain still is still working. Do you think that the doctor can the doctor be able to announce that this person is dead? What do you think? Hung.
Hello?
Yeah. Okay, let's say that our eye is no longer work. That means we cannot see, we cannot hear, we cannot smell good, we cannot touch. That means we cannot move to touch, right? And our body is a very well, that means this person is lie down there, right? But the brain is still function, have some kind of function. Do you think that the doctor said that this is the dead person already? Can they announce?
No, because they still have a consciousness. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. The doctor cannot announce this person is passed away if the brain still functions. They cannot do that. That's why when you go into the hospital and you see they have the machine hooked up with the brain, and also they have the oxygen, right? The oxygen device. They hook up into the nose, so we can inhale and exhale. The machine can help us to inhale and exhale. Why? Because the brain needs the oxygen. For the brain to function, we need to have oxygen. What happens is, as long as the brain still functions, the doctor cannot say that this person did die. It's passed away. No, they cannot do that. Until that the brain is no longer function, that means it's dead. This is a dead brain, right? That means all this thing is no longer work. Because when the brain is no longer function, automatically this 5 cents here, it no longer work. Because this 5 depend on the brain, right? So this will gone, and also mana consonant. It's not the it's not the physical consonant. It's just the consonant attached to the data inside the alaya consonant at the cell, at the ego, the cell-centric emotion. This is the mana consonant. When the mind consonant is no longer work, oh, this 5 is gone, this 1 is gone, and the only thing left is the alaya consonant, and this is also still there, but the alaya consonant is the most important. Okay, that will eventually, it will take some time, not depend on if the person who died, right? They if we have too much attachment to the world, right? We attach to our loved one, we attach to our wealth, right? The money, our material. Do you think that the alaya consonant be able to leave the body quickly? Jaden, what do you think?
Maybe. Maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
In-
Let's say
maybe
that
in a
the
specific
person.
scenario.
Okay, let's say the person who just passed away, right? And that means the alaya consonant not yet leave the body yet. Because the doctor said that this person did die because the brain function is no longer work. That's why they declare it dead. But in Buddhism view, this person is not yet dead. Totally.
Oh,
Okay. But do you think the alaya consonant can be able to leave the body quickly if this person have too much attachment to the world? For example, the family member or the wealth. That means the material they have, like the property, the money, whatever. Do you think this person can be able to leave the body quickly?
no.
No, it's not easy. And you know what? Remember, when the person died, they have to go through the process they call the 4 elements. That means the earth, the water, the fire, and the wind inside our body. The organ, the solid organ, right, represent the earth. The liquid in our body represent the water, right? The inhale and exhale represent the air. The fire, that means the heat in our body, the heat temperature, it represents the fire. These four property here, we have to go through the decompose, the process of the decompose of the 4 property, 4 elements. You know how much pain the person who passed away will go through. You know how much pain do they have to undergo. The Buddha said that it's just like the turtle, right? If you take up the turtle shell, you know the turtle, they have the shell, right? If you peel up the shell from the turtle, what do you think? The pain they will go through, it's terrible. We have to experience that pain even greater. That's why in Buddhism, it's so important if we know how to pray during the time they just passed away. And they will have the peace of mind, and they will be able to overcome the pain easily, and they have no pain. That's why the 8-hour praying is so important. During the time that pass away, recite the Buddha name is very critical at this moment. Otherwise, if we don't help them, they will attach to the pain. The more attachment to the pain, the more pain they get. Does it make sense? This is terrible. So next week, I will continue on to teach you guys about this, how they leave the body, okay? And they will become here. The whole idea I'm teaching you about the 7 property or 6 property to understand that all phenomena in this world, include our own body, we are the creator, not God as the creator. God as the creator is called ignorant. The power of our karma is the one who created us. This is called wisdom. You understand the purpose I'm teaching you this? Right? Jaden? Syria? Betty, you understand the purpose? Home. This is important. So later on, if you hear anyone say that God is the creator who created the whole world, that is nonsense. That is the wrong view. If God is the creator, why don't he just create everyone equal, perfect? He cannot do it. That means he's not the creator. But if he be able to do it and he don't do it, that means he have no compassion. He biased. You understand? So those teaching is nonsense. That's why we call ignorant. Does it make sense? This is important. That's why the whole world, right? If they don't learn the Buddha teaching in this way, they will not have the wisdom to recognize which is the right view and which is the wrong view. Does it make sense to you, Agent?
Yeah.
So from today's teaching, what do you think, Agent?
I like it.
But you have this thing you never heard before, right? You don't hear this thing before much, even though I say sometime in your class in the video in the Rebirth in the past, but in the detail, the way I teach you now, I teach you in depth. Before I just give you in general, but now I give you in depth the whole process, how it works. This is called wisdom. Serena, con hiểu không con? Yeah. Hồng, con hiểu không con? Hồng, what do you think, Hồng? This kind of teaching, what do you think?
I think it's good.
You think it's good? Jaden, what do you think?
I think it's interesting.
If later on you hear any kind of teaching, it's not aligned with this kind of teaching, you have to think about it. If not aligned with the Buddha teaching, it means wrong view. Does it make sense? Yeah. Okay, we can stop right here today. I don't want to take too much time from you. I hope you guys can be able to be patient so you can learn this teaching. It's not easy to learn this teaching by your age, okay? Okay. Hey, con đọc này con.
Every living being, our minds is one and radiant with light, share the birth of peace and heart of goodness, voice and right. Let people hear and see our heads and hearts of God and giving unity. May their minds awake to great compassion, wisdom is the door. The kindness and reward will all who sorrow meet their grief and pain. May this boundless light break the darkness of their endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns to paradise. May all become compassionate and one. May all become compassionate and one.
Okay, thank you, con. Yeah, Nam mô Di Phật ơi. Chào con. I wish you see you next week.
Bye, thầy.
Among Thai.